welcome back. So in this video we're going to see how to replace this data that is for the username here. Okay, so if you remember correctly, we had in our api.php we had this section where the user info is the type of data we are looking for. So just like all of these, we are simply going to include a file that will have all the logic that we need. So here user info, and we're going to create a page called user info.php. Since our login page already has the kind of logic that we need, we're simply going to go to my chat includes, and we're going to get the login page, copy and paste, and we'll change that to user underscore info.php, and we'll load that one. So pretty much everything here is the same, except we are not logging in, so we won't have this data email. What we will have though, coming from this area here, is we're going to have this session user ID, this one right here. So if we get to this point, we know that this is actually set. So what we need to do is go back to user info here, and I'm going to remove this validation right there. And what I will do now is to say data user ID, right? Now the reason I need to add to this data is because I want to send it over in the query. So I will say is equal to session user ID, just like that. Okay, so we don't need to check if error is empty, but just in case we'll leave it there. Maybe the errors can carry over from the other side. So query is equal to select all from users where now we don't have the email here, so we're going to convert this to user ID. Now what's important in this data we are supplying is to use the same key here, user ID. This is user ID and user ID there. Okay, very good. And then at this point we're going to read if we actually find what we're looking for. This is the result here. So at this point we don't need to check if the password is correct or anything like that, so I'm going to delete everything after this point. Now since the result is actually an object already, we just need to add something here, and that is what's that, logged in. So we need to keep assuring it that logged in is true, so I'm going to say result logged in is equal to true. Actually here we don't need to do this. What we want to do is go to index.php, and here where we are checking for logged in, we will have to check if it's also set at the same time. So let me copy this. If type of is not equal to undefined, and then we do that. Okay, so this type of not equal to undefined will check to see if it's actually set. So this is equivalent to is set in PHP. So if is set and it's false, then we do that. Otherwise, let's alert the result. So let's see if we get something awesome here. So let me refresh. Let's go to the console to see if there are any okay, we don't have any. Okay, so what's happening here? Let me go up here and get the result from the top there. So let's see what's happening. Okay, so we're getting an empty result. So this is a problem now. Empty result. So let me come back to user info here. And that's because we are not actually sending anything back. So let me grab what's this? So I want to create a type, so I'm going to say result data type is equal to user info. So the data type should always be there so that the result is clear what to do with it. So now I want to echo out the JSON encode of this result. And that's it. So let me refresh now, and we get our user data from the database. Very good, and type is already there. So instead of so we go to the index page now, where it says handle result. So down here on handle result, we simply want to add a switch statement. Handle result. So we're going to say switch switch result data type. So that's what we want to know. What is this data type? So up here we will say case. So if this one is user info, then we'll do something here. And let's add a break so we don't forget. So far we only have user info here. So if this is the case, what we want to do is load the data. So we will grab a few things here. So variable username is equal to get item by ID username. So we are grabbing the div or the span that contains our username, which is somewhere up here, this one right there. That's what we are grabbing. So when I come down here, after we've grabbed it, I want to display the data. So I'm going to say username dot username actually wrong thing. I'm going to say username dot inner HTML, because that's what we want to change. HTML is equal to its result. Okay, so result dot username. So that should be enough for us to just see a username there. And we haven't seen that, so something is wrong. Let's go to the console. Expected expression got now syntax error. Where is that syntax error? Click on that button there. Switch data type. So as usual, I've gone back to using PHP notation. So let me use a dot right there. My bad. This is a habit because of using two languages at the same time. Okay, so there we go. Now everything is fine. But why isn't our username changing? So what I want to know is, let me echo it out here. Let me just have an alert, just to be sure that we know what the data type is. So it's undefined. Okay, so we don't have it, so instead let me just get result itself. Okay, so we are getting, okay, data type. All right. Okay, so the thing that I've done here, the mistake that I've made is I'm using result instead of object, because object is the one that I have parsed. So I'm supposed to use object here, obj, right here. So both here and there I have to use obj because that's the object. This result is still a string, so it doesn't have this content there. All right, so let's refresh, and right there we see our username, and let's do the same thing for the email. So there we go. There's another thing, another item called email, if I am not mistaken. Let me go up here and confirm this. Okay, so the ID is email, that's confirmed. So in the same way, this email, like so. Okay, so all of this will happen at this point. So let me indent that so that it's clear to see what's going on. And then we'll have several different cases here where case is equal to, instead of user info, this might be what's the contacts, for example, like this. Okay, this will lead to something else here, and so on. All right, so far this one is good. I could have simply put a function. If there's too much code here, it's better to just put a function and then put the function down here and write all the code that you require to run at this point. All right, so let me refresh, and I'm going to see the email also has been updated. So far so good. So if I refresh, that's what's happening. Now we need to add a logout as well. So adding a logout is going to be quite easy. So let me just go to the API down here, and all we have to be doing now is duplicating these and copying and just changing the data type at the end there. So this one will be logout, that's the one I want to deal with, and then I can simply copy the info here and simply send it to the logout like this. And then all I need to do now is create the logout page. Now all we need to log out is simply to remove that session. So I'll save it in includes and just say logout.php. All I need to do is unset the session. So I'm going to say session user ID. So I'll say unset. Now sometimes you may want to unset something that's not set, so we have to confirm that it's set. So we're going to say if is set like this, then we unset it like so. So if is set, unset. And then what we want to do now is return some info. So we're going to say info logged in is equal to false. That's our queue in order to allow the thing to redirect us. So I'm going to say echo JSON encode info, like that. That should sort out the problem. So let me go back to API here. Oh no, actually index.php. So here I want to put something like logout down here, a logout link, a button. So what I will do is go to here So that one is in the left panel. That's where it is. So down here, after everything, I'm simply going to add an input of type button, and then simply I'm going to say what will I do here? I'm going to say ID is equal to, okay, I actually don't need the ID, so let me put value instead. I'm just going to say logout. So let's refresh the page, and there is the logout button. So of course I can style it later in another video, but I just want to show you the functionality in this one. So when we click, it should do something. So there are two ways to do this. We can add an on-click listener right there, or we can add an on-click listener down here. So let's do it the proper way and add an on-click listener down here. So where is the other? Okay, on the index page we don't have any event listeners yet. So what I will do is, let me rename it and give it a name, an ID of course, logout. All right, so I'm going to grab that and say var logout is equal to logout, like so. And then I'm going to say logout dot add event listener. We are listening for a click, and the function that we want to run is logout. As simple as that. And then we can go down here and create that function, say function logout. Okay, so in order to log out, all we need to do is get some data, just like this. See, get data. We're not sending anything there, and all we do is say logout, because this is the data type. So get data, data type. So because this is logout, it's going to go to the API, and it will pass through this location right here, and then at this place it's going to load the logout.php, which is here, and then it's going to unset everything and return us back with the information that logged in is false. And then when it comes back, as you can see, handle result, as soon as it sees logged in is false, it's going to take us to the login page. So let's see how that works, and let me click logout. All right, so nothing has happened. So let's go to the console to confirm. So there's a syntax error here on unexpected character JSON. Okay, so here handle event is not callable. All right, so what's happening, I think, is because the result is being returned empty. So let me go to logout here. Info logout API. Okay, let me come back here and see what the result is. So we need to find a way to sort this problem out, where if an empty result comes back, we don't get all these errors. Okay, so there's a syntax error in API PHP on line 43. So this is why we're getting problems. So API 43, which is this one right here. So why is there a syntax? Oh, okay, that's because there's a missing bracket here. This is why I like using the other one where the brackets are this side, but why not? So let me go back here and remove in index.php, remove this alert. We don't need it anymore. Let me refresh, and let's see it log out. So still we are getting some errors. So let me go back to the console. Handle event is not callable. So what this is implying is that it can't call this function here, the logout function. But why? Okay, maybe what's happening here is because the name of the button and the function are named the same, so it's assuming that I'm talking about the button itself to call it here. Okay, so maybe let's change the name of the function. Let's say logout user, something like this. Let me go down here and say logout user. Let's see if that works. So let's refresh the page and click logout. There we go. So everything is working fine. So let's try and log in now. Password. Oh, and now what that I'm trying to log in, I've noticed that if I hit the enter key, it doesn't log me in. So wrong password. So what I want to do is we can do a simple change here. On the login.php page, let me go back here just a touch. Where is this login? So I will change this from button to submit, because submit responds to the enter key. However, what I will do is when collect data is selected, what I will say is I'm going to add an E here so that I can capture the event, and I'm going to say e.prevent default, like this. Okay, that should work out. I think I should do the same for the sign up page, but let me see if it works for this one. Let me refresh. Oops, we are back to the submit button here. So let me go to my CSS styles and change this button here to submit, because we had changed it earlier. So let me do that. All right, so now if I click enter, let me see. It works now. All right, so password, and there we are logged in and the user data is showing. All right, so far so good. I'll see you in the next video where we do some cooler stuff.